Divorce mediation lawyer in Manhattan. Divorce mediation can help you and your spouse make decisions without turning everything over to a judge. In Manhattan, court calendars can be backlogged for months, so mediation may help you resolve a divorce sooner. Mediation can also reduce conflict and keep costs lower than a fully litigated case. But mediation is not the right fit for every couple, and any agreement still has to comply with New York law to become binding. Divorce mediation is a voluntary, private process where spouses meet with a neutral mediator to negotiate divorce terms outside of court. The mediator does not take sides, does not represent either spouse, and does not make decisions for you. Instead, the mediator guides the conversation, helps identify disagreements, and supports both spouses in working towards settlement terms. In New York, court-annexed mediation programs are governed by Part 146 of the Rules of the Chief Administrator of the Courts, including standards for mediator qualifications. Couples can also choose private mediation outside of court. Mediation can address the major issues in a divorce, including property division, child custody, child support, and spousal maintenance. Once both spouses agree on terms, the agreement is written and signed under Domestic Relations Law Section 236(b)(3). A properly executed settlement agreement is binding as a contract between the parties. After submission to the New York County Supreme Court, the agreement may be incorporated into the judgment of divorce and become enforceable as a court order. Because mediation is confidential, the details discussed do not become part of the public record. Choosing between mediation and litigation affects cost, timeline, privacy, and control over outcomes. In Manhattan, litigated divorces can take 12 to 18 months or longer, while mediation often concludes in weeks to several months depending on complexity. New York is an equitable distribution state under DRL Section 236(b), meaning marital property is divided fairly but not necessarily equally. That equitable distribution rule applies whether the divorce is mediated or litigated. The key difference is who makes the decisions, since mediation keeps decision-making with the spouses while litigation places decisions with a judge. Asset division in mediation typically requires full disclosure of marital assets like real estate, bank accounts, investments, retirement accounts, and personal property. A mediator may recommend professional appraisals for high-value items such as a business, artwork, or real estate. Separate property, including assets owned before marriage or received as gifts or inheritance, is generally not subject to division. If separate property becomes commingled with marital property, it may be treated differently, which can affect negotiations and outcomes. Custody decisions in New York are based on the best interests of the child. Mediation can help parents work on legal custody, meaning who makes major decisions about a child's health, education, and welfare. Mediation can also help parents work on physical custody, meaning where the child lives. A parenting plan created in mediation often covers schedules, holidays, vacations, transportation, and communication between parents. Because parents build the plan together, it can be more detailed and tailored than a court-imposed order. Child support in New York is governed by the Child Support Standards Act under Family Court Act Section 413. The calculation is based on combined parental income and the number of children, with mediation allowing discussion of childcare, health insurance, and educational expenses. Spousal maintenance can also be negotiated in mediation, and courts consider factors such as the length of the marriage, each spouse's income and earning potential, age, health, and contributions to the marriage. The process often begins with an initial meeting to discuss goals, identify issues, and confirm mediation is appropriate. Both spouses then gather and exchange financial records like bank statements, pay stubs, tax returns, property deeds, and retirement statements to support fair negotiations. Mediation sessions commonly last 2 to 3 hours, and many couples need 3 to 6 sessions, though complex cases may require more. When issues are resolved, the terms are drafted into a written settlement agreement or memorandum that outlines the divorce terms. Independent review matters, because each spouse should have their own attorney review the agreement for completeness and legal compliance before signing. After signing, the divorce paperwork and agreement are filed in New York County Supreme Court for judicial review and final judgment. A divorce mediation lawyer focuses on advising you about your rights and evaluating proposals during negotiations. A mediator remains neutral and cannot provide legal advice to either spouse. An attorney can help you understand what a fair outcome looks like under New York law and how proposed terms may affect your future. Your attorney can also confirm that agreements comply with DRL Section 236B for equitable distribution and Family Court Act Section 413 for child support. You may want legal guidance before mediation begins, during sessions when major terms are negotiated, and before you sign any final agreement. Mediation may be difficult or inappropriate when there is a significant power imbalance between spouses. Cases involving domestic violence are generally not appropriate for mediation because safety and autonomy cannot be guaranteed. Mediation can also break down if one spouse hides assets or refuses to provide complete financial disclosure. If mediation does not result in full agreement, arbitration or litigation remain available paths to resolve remaining issues. Time spent in mediation is not necessarily wasted, because clarified issues and partial agreements can streamline later proceedings. The law firm Juan Luciano divorce lawyer describes mediation as a way to pursue practical agreements while protecting rights and preserving family relationships. Speak with a lawyer about whether mediation fits your situation and what to expect based on your assets, custody concerns, and goals. This law firm frames mediation as a practical way to reach workable divorce terms while protecting your rights and helping families move forward. To learn whether mediation fits your situation, call Juan Luciano divorce lawyer at 212-537-5859 or visit 347 Fifth Avenue, STE 1003, New York, New York, 10016, United States.